Welcome back, everyone, to the Xamarin Show, Snack Pack Edition. I'm your host, James Montemagno, and today we're going to look at an awesome service in Azure called Cognitive Services. Specifically, part of the Vision APIs, we're going to use the Emotion API, which will enable us to craft great user experiences based off emotion detection of our photos or videos, which is pretty unbelievably awesome. What's great here is it's a cross-platform API leveraging the powers of Azure to do all of this machine learning and intelligence inside of our applications with just a few lines of code. So let's take a look at how you can integrate the Emotion API in just a few minutes. Here I am on the Cognitive Services page on the Azure website. Part of Cognitive Services are Vision, Knowledge, Language, Speech, and Search APIs. When you tap on Vision, this will bring you into multiple Vision APIs, including computer vision, content moderation, and the Emotion API. The Emotion API is what we're going to use today to integrate into our application. Now, this will help detect and create personal experiences based on happiness, if someone's sad, and you can detect that in your application. So to get started, you can learn about the entire Emotion API here and actually upload photos or URLs to detect what you would get back. It's a simple RESTful API that you can use, but since we're .NET developers using C#, we can use a cross-platform SDK. So first, let's hop over into the Azure portal. We need to create an API key for our Cognitive service. Here I'm going to hit New, and we're going to search for Cognitive and find Cognitive Services. We'll go ahead and create this Cognitive service, and part of the setup, we'll select what API we want. So we'll say test phase 2 will be the name of my service. Under the API type, these are all of the APIs in Cognitive Service, and we want specifically the Emotion API. Let's tap on that. We can go ahead and actually put this in a free tier, which I've already created ahead of time, or a different pricing tier for calls per second. And I'll go ahead and put this into an existing group. I'll go ahead and confirm and pin this to the dashboard. This is going to provision out my Cognitive Service resource and also generate an API token that we can bring into our app. So this takes only a few moments to do, and then the deploy will be finished. Give this a few seconds here to deploy. And there we have it. Our Cognitive Service is right here, and we can monitor all of our incoming calls, any latency that we may have in the dashboard. But what we want to do is grab our keys. So under keys right here, you have 2 keys, and you can regenerate them at any time. So I can go ahead and copy this key and bring it into my app. So let's now take this key and see how we can integrate the cross-platform SDK. So I'm going to hop over to Visual Studio, and I'm actually screen mirroring my Android device here. Now to get started, what we're going to do is install a few NuGet packages. What we're going to do is create a little application where we can take a photo of our face and analyze the emotion of how happy I am. So to bring in the Emotion API, we're going to bring in Microsoft Project Oxford.emotion. This is a cross-platform SDK with just a few lines of code. I can go ahead and call that backend service with that API token that I just generated. I'm additionally going to be using our Media plugin, which is a cross-platform API to pick or take photos and videos from our shared code. So let's take a look over here at what our shared code has. I have first just a simple xamarin.forms XAML page for our media page. This is very, very simple, and all it has is a button that says Take Photo, an image to display the image, a little progress bar, and a button to analyze it. So very simplistic. Then I also have the Emotion service that will be called to analyze using that cross-platform SDK. So here's a few helper methods that I created. I have a getHappinessAsync, which will use the Emotion service client with our API token that I created earlier. And then all I have to do is simply pass in a stream. So this will be the photo stream or any stream of image that you may read off of the disk. Now once I have that photo stream, I will be able to detect faces in that stream, and I have a method here to do that. So here I get an array of emotions back, and I can loop through each of the emotions to get the happiness. Inside of the score, we can see that I have anger, contempt, disgust, fear, happiness, if I'm neutral, surprised, or sad. So you can use all sorts of different emotions, not just happiness. And the final thing I'm going to do is take my score, round it up, and detect if I'm happy or sad. So let's take a look at the code behind for that page that uses this emotion service. Here we go. I have a single button click right here for taking a photo. When I take this photo, it'll go ahead and resize it to small, so it'll compress it down. And then I'll go ahead and load that into the image source, so it'll display on the actual application. Then when I go ahead and tap the analysis button, this will go off, get our average happiness score, and then get that message of how happy I am based off that score, and I'll simply display the alert. That's it. Super simple. About 50 lines of code total to not only take a photo, but analyze it using cognitive services inside the application. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and debug. This is going to go ahead and deploy not only our cognitive services, but also all that code that I just generated onto my physical Android device. So here we go. Now we'll get that similar user interface that I beautifully crafted with the two buttons on it in the debug mode, so I can take photo and analyze. So let's go ahead and take a photo. So let's start off here, and we'll go ahead and swap it around. Try this out. Give it a little bit of a smile. This will go out. Now I'll go ahead and display it, and I'll hit Analyze. This will go ahead and now send it back up to our cognitive service backend in Azure to start analyzing our photo. And there we go. Here it comes back, and I can see that I've found one face inside of here, inside of our emotion, and we can go ahead and take a look at the scores. It shows me all of my scores, and I am pretty happy. Additionally, it will show us the rectangle for the face that it's detected. So let's go ahead and get rid of that breakpoint. There we go. And I'm 100% happy. Let's see if I can find one that maybe I'm not so happy. Let's see here. Pre-coffee. This will go off, do the same thing now, and analyze this photo to detect how happy I am. We'll go ahead and continue on. 0% happy. You can do all sorts of other things, not only just detecting faces, but of course you can even attempt to take a photo of, let's say, Mooch here. There we go. We'll take that photo. We'll see if the cognitive services will be able to detect the monkey. 0 results. Nothing came back because it's a stuffed animal monkey, unfortunately. The cognitive services are that smart to be able to actually analyze the photo and do machine learning to detect if it is a human face or an animal face on it to actually detect the emotion of it, which is super awesome. Well, there you have it. In just a few lines of code, in just a few moments, I integrated the media plugin to take a photo or pick a photo, and then used the Cognitive Services Emotion API to analyze that photo and get the happiness level. There's so many awesome things that you can do inside your application with Cognitive Services. I'll put all of the links in the show notes below, and I hope you enjoyed this Xamarin Snack Pack. Don't forget to subscribe in whatever corner it is. Until next time, I'm James, this is The Xamarin Show, and thanks for watching.